These were people, Israelis, carrying on their lives peacefully on October 7 when Hamas came in and, in my view, committed that atrocious war crimes of taking these civilians. Now, some people may say, well, they could have been killed by Israeli bombing. In the end, it doesn't matter. They shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have been kept hostage, and many still are. In terms of the ceasefire, fascinating situation now between Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu. Clearly now they've fallen out. They're not getting on well. What it appears Joe Biden has tried to go over Benjamin Netanyahu's head by actually saying to the world, to the Israeli public and others, this is an Israeli proposal. They're happy with this. Now, Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is actually saying, no, we're not happy with it, and apparently has not even shown it to members of his far right in his government, apparently has not even showed them the written proposal. And so now the fascinating development inside Israel is that the opposition leader, Yair Lapid, is saying that if the two hardline right-wingers pull their support from your government and try to bring the government down by accepting this ceasefire deal, we, the Yair Lapid opposition, will come in and give you the numbers so you can stay in power. So now Benjamin Netanyahu is having to choose between the far right, who want no ceasefire and war to continue, and in the end Israel to occupy Gaza, and to choose between the centre-left, who want a ceasefire, the Biden proposal. At the moment, he's choosing the continuation of the war and the far right wing.
And how much pressure then is the US able and prepared to bring on Israel?
Well, that's the key question. A few weeks ago, they talked about one shipment of weapons. The fascinating thing, too, is just as Joe Biden has gone over the head of Netanyahu, it now looks like Netanyahu's the wiliest politician of all, will go over his head in an address to the Congress, which is scheduled for the next couple of weeks. Now, Netanyahu is telling people, I won't give my answer to the ceasefire until I speak to the US Congress. Now, the Biden White House is saying they should not have agreed to him speaking at the joint session of the US Congress in a week or two until he had agreed to the ceasefire. Fascinating politics. We've never seen anything like this at this level.
And what's the Hamas response to this proposed deal?
Well, Hamas is trying to position itself now as, yes, we want the ceasefire. They have basically said, yes, we will accept it. And they're wanting Israel to be seen as the naysayer. But they have basically said they would sign off on it. The deal essentially would be 6 weeks of no fighting. Many of the hostages released, the remaining hostages, in return for Palestinian prisoners, and a surge in humanitarian aid into Gaza. Now, there's about 125 hostages. The Israeli army says about 35 of them are probably dead. So there's about 85 live hostages still there, who the families are getting increasingly angry. The death of this new 4 now is making those hostage families and the Israeli public are now coming at Netanyahu from that direction. So he's copping it from all sides.
And Israel's offensive in Rafah continues. What is the humanitarian situation? Because very little, if no aid is getting it.
No aid really is getting it at all. Most of it was coming through Rafah. That's closed now. Just desperate. Children dying. It's just absolutely desperate.